The strongest substance on earth isn't diamonds, and it definitely isn't my makeup. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Raphael and I am here to review episode 15 of The Real Backstabbers of Beverly Hills. So we start off this episode with Dorit and PK, and Dorit is so excited. She is screaming around like, Baba, Baba, I got a box of wedding dresses, Baba. Come and get ready. I'm gonna model them for you, Baba. And so she finally puts all these wedding dresses on and she's modeling them one by one to PK. Their dynamic between them is just a little bit creepy for me. I don't know, something about PK just kind of rubs me the wrong way. He just, I don't know, something about him seems like such a skis. And she puts on one by one and she walks down the, living room just going back and forth. And she's like, what do you think about this? Baby, stop. Oh my God. If you want to see me in a wedding dress, you're gonna have to marry me again, babies. Stop it. And as she's trying to come up with names for these individual wedding dresses, PK just keeps shutting all of them down like, no, I think this is stupid. I think this is dumb. No, how about this? No, I don't really like it. So I don't know, something about him, again, like I mentioned, I feel like he gets off with having control of her in a way, just because I guess he's the breadwinner in their relationship or in their marriage. And I don't know, it just seems very controlling. I mean, Dorit said in her confessional, some people will find it very weird that PK is so controlling and, he just wants to have a say in everything. But I think it's kind of cute and adorable, Honestly, Dorit, it's nothing cute about it and it's nothing funny about it because PK comes off as controlling, as if he'll be like, you need to name this wedding dress after this, or I'm gonna cut you off and I'm not gonna give you any type of allowance. That's the type of vibe that he gives me in a marriage. And if you really wanted help with the names of the wedding dress, you could have just called me, Dorit. I could have gave you a couple names, One wedding dress could have been called the Louis Vuitton logo. The next one could have been called the I Talk Too Much. The next one would have been called I Have a Diamond for No Reason. I have a multiple list of you, Dorit, so just call me whenever you need any names for your wedding dresses. So then we head over to Sutton's house, aka Kyle's house, because Kyle loves to remind us every 5 seconds that it's her house and that she's making money off Sutton. Like, we get it, Kyle. Kyle is so annoying. I mean, we're already 15 episodes in and she's still doing the same shit that she was doing earlier in the season. Like, yes, this is my house and I can't wait to count her rent money. Like, we get it. Sutton could probably afford your house too. So then Sutton in her SpongeBob SquarePants shorts go outside with Kyle and she starts telling Kyle, it's such a shame that me and Erika were friends, before she pointed her big doo-doo fingernail at me. I'm like, not doo-doo nail, like what is that? She thinks that this whole story is a big elaborate plot that Tom basically told Erika, was like, Erika, the jig is up. I think you should just protect yourself. Try to go on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills one more season to try to get a paycheck or whatever. Make this your storyline and save yourself because we're going to go down in flames, okay? And Inspector Gadget Sutton is telling Kyle, I think I've been handling this situation with Erika with kid arms, with kid gloves. Like, I've been just kind of babying her. I think we all have seen the whole group babying Erika for the most part, Sutton. So, don't blame yourself. And she's like, I kind of want a hardcore match with Erika. And I'm like, what is this? The WWE? Like, what? The hardcore match? On this side, we got Sutton. On this side, we have Erika. And the stipulation is a hardcore match for the WWE title. Like, what is this, Sutton? But I get what she's trying to say because, I think she wants to get a little bit more in there with Erika and dig a little bit deeper with this issue. And I was just shaking my head the entire time as Sutton just continues telling Kyle more and more and more, because just looking at Kyle there, I'm like, wow, like later on in the episode, she's just gonna turn this all on you, Sutton. So if I could have just jumped on the screen, I would have been like, Sutton, stop. Don't say anything else to Kyle. She's going to use it against you later on in the episode. And did y'all notice that Sutton in her confessional, that red dress and then the long hair? I'm like, well, that's an interesting choice. She was looking like Elsa from the movie Frozen's grandmother. I'm like, I don't know how I felt about that. I liked her other confessionals with the whole black look with the ponytail up there, but this one was okay. Then we head over to Crystal's house where she's making a duck and she's preparing to have a dinner with the ladies, a dinner before the dinner later on. I'm like, damn, how many dinners do we have to get to before we see the mascara coming down Erika's face? But regardless, so she's making everything, she's preparing the food, and then Garcelle, Kathy Hilton, and Erika arrive and they're all sitting down and they're eating. And they ask Garcelle, so how do you feel about the whole situation with Dorit? I mean, how's everything now? And she's like, well, I mean, what can I do? Duct tape her mouth? And I'm like, well, that'll be a nice start to it. Regardless, they bring up Sutton and Erika's like, yeah, I just think that the whole, oh, I don't want my reputation to go down in flames is a bunch of bullshit because who is Sutton? You know, who is she? You know, we didn't know her before the show. And I'm like, Erika, we didn't know you before the show. So, I mean, to me personally, I did not know of Erika before the show. Did y'all know who she was before the show? I'm like, if it wasn't for you marrying a rich man, I don't think nobody would know who you are. Same thing for Kathy Hilton. I was shocked at Kathy Hilton, but at the same time, she really has no loyalty to nobody on the show besides her sister Kyle. And she's like, you know, nobody really gives a fuck what Sutton has to say. And I'm like, wow, like we have a lot to say about Sutton. And you know who I was really shocked to jump in on this conversation? Crystal, when she jumped in and she was like, yeah, I just think it's really stupid. And it's just crazy how Sutton just thinks that she's important. And who is she? I mean, I just can't believe her. And I'm like, first of all, Crystal, who are you? Like, same thing as Garcelle said in her confessional, where she's like, well, Crystal, I mean, I knew Rob, you know, her husband, before I knew you. I'm pretty sure we all knew Mufasa before you. We all knew Simba before you. We all knew Scar before you. We knew the whole Lion King cast before we knew who Crystal was. So, Crystal, if I was you, I don't know. I didn't like this. Like, you were good all the way up to this episode because you and Sutton, you know, were on rocky terms the entire season at the beginning, and then you squashed the issue between you and Sutton, and then now you're friends, but now you're over here talking shit behind her back, saying, I just think that she's very awkward and weird. And I'm like, wow, Crystal, like, it's crazy that you just flip-flop over to Erika's side just because she's in your house. Like, just because she's in your company doesn't mean you have to agree with what she's saying. So, I don't know. It was a really bad look on Crystal and Kathy. Kathy just talking so much shit too. Again, if you were not to marry who you were married to, nobody would know who any of you are. So I was just taken aback from the words being exchanged within this group. And Garcelle was just sitting there in her confessional. She's like, I'm so confused why all these women are talking in front of me about Sutton, knowing that I am Team Sutton. And I'm like, Garcelle, how come you don't say anything in front of the women instead of the confessional? That's so weird. I don't know if they're cutting certain scenes out or if they're shortening the clips or something, but Garcelle is just a talking confessional, and that's where she talks a big game. But in person, she picks and chooses when to say something. So I'm confused. I'm like, if that's your friend, and you see all three of the women next to you talking shit about her, why are you not defending her in the moment instead of in your confessional? I'm not sure. Maybe she has her own reasons, or maybe she finds it pointless, or maybe she just thinks that at the reunion, everything is going to be exposed, so might as well wait then. Then we head over to Kyle's house, where she's having a lovely dinner with Mauricio, her husband, and did y'all see how Bravo played her? With those flashbacks photos of her old face? I'm like, who the hell is that? Like, oh my God, Kyle, if I was you, I would just call up Andy quickly, like, Andy, take this fucking episode down and please remove those pictures. Like, what is wrong with you, Andy? Like, do you not love me? What's going on here? Because Kyle, they did you so dirty with those photos. I'm looking at that like, who's that? And who's the woman we're watching now? Is it two different people? Does Kyle have another sister that we don't know about? I have to rewind it like a couple times. I'm like, again, who is this lady and who's this woman that's now here in front of Mauricio? Like, is Mauricio having another affair on TV with another woman that we don't know about? Like, but regardless, their little dinner was cute. I really enjoyed that. Mauricio really does seem very invested and very in love with Kyle. I think their relationship or their marriage seems very genuine. What do y'all think? Do y'all think it's genuine? I think it is. It looks genuine, and it looks like they have a lot of fun together. It looks like they have so much chemistry, so it's cute. And I like that Kyle pointed out that, oh, if I was to walk away from my marriage or just break it off every single time we got into a fight, I wouldn't have lasted this long in this marriage, which is true. I mean, in a relationship or in a marriage or in any type of relationship, you know, if you have issues with your significant other or another friend or whatever, you can't just always walk away from it every single time things get ugly. You know, like, there's gonna be good times, there's gonna be bad times, but you just kind of gotta, you know, learn how to rock the boat here and there. And I love that she said that, because obviously their marriage has been this strong to last this long without no scandals. Yeah. So then we see all the women getting ready for Kathy Hilton's dinner that she's having at her own house, where she's hosting it for the first time. And then we see Dorit looking like Cindy Lou Who from the Grinch Stole Christmas movie. I'm like, Dorit, like, what are you doing? I know she walked out of the house thinking she was the baddest bitch on the block. I know PK was probably looking at her like, yes, you look so good, baby. Go ahead and go slay them all. Yes, hunty. Go queen. Yes, mama. And I'm pretty sure that Dorit just, you know, gassed herself up in her head like, okay, I'm gonna walk out of here with these pigtails. She wanted to look like Annabelle so bad, you know, the little creepy doll. I'm like, all right, Dora, whatever works for you and whatever you think you're slaying in, it is what it is. And then we see Kyle. She's getting ready. She's getting her makeup and hair done, and she calls Kathy, and she's like, Kathy, what are you wearing to this? Because I want to know so I can, dress up really nicely. And then we see Garcelle, and did y'all see my little homage to her outfit? She stole my outfit first. I gave her the idea to wear this to the dinner table months ago. And she calls Sutton, and she's telling Sutton, Sutton, are you prepared to fight? I mean, I'm pretty sure, I feel like the producers are going to sit us next to, Erika, and she's going to be in between us. So if she hits you, I'm going to hit her too, and then we could jump her. And 2 versus 1, I think maybe Erika could take her. And Sutton is like, yeah, I think I'm going to put her in her place tonight. And I'm like, But I like the phone call between Sutton and Garcelle. Their friendship seems very genuine and very organic, as if it's not really just for the show. Like, they're really actual friends, and I like that. So finally, it's dinner time, and we head over to Kathy's house where she's getting everything, the finishing touches, where her butler, who his name is Patrick, Kathy makes it known that she does not like anybody showing up 5 minutes early, 10 minutes early, because that's when, the things get a little bit stressful. Then Lisa shows up, and I completely forgot that she was on the show. I mean, they did not show her at all until this late into the episode. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about Lisa. They probably told her like, okay, you advertised enough of your stupid lip kit thing last week, and we're not showing you anymore this week, so just give it up. And she shows up looking like a rock star from the 80s with this big giant suit and the hair slicked back. I'm like, oh, I was not a fan of this look at all. I'm like, okay. And Patrick is like, hello, yes, go take a seat over there and take your ass to the table now. And no, the bar is closed. We are not doing that here, no. And all the women start arriving at the house one by one. They're all getting their drinks and sitting on the sofas and everything. And then here comes Cindy Lou Who, aka Dorit, and in her confessional, she's like, I just feel like I'm in my element, and I just feel like this comes natural to me. And I'm like, natural in what way? That you're PK's butler or something? I'm like, Dorit, please stop. Like, I was cringing the entire time she was saying that. I'm like, she gives me the type of vibe that she is fake rich, and she wants to be like this bigger rich that she thinks that she is, in a way, if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, she thinks that she's on Kathy Hilton's level of rich, and I'm like, okay, that's PK's money, but all right. And she's just like, I just think that it's so lavish and so nice, the great trays, the butlers, everything about it is so cute, and I just really love it. Playing with my pigtail. Lisa also says that she's on her 2nd drink, and she's not responsible for whatever comes out her mouth tonight. And I'm like, yeah, you're warning us now because of the mess that you light up later on in the episode. And then Patrick, the butler, he comes in and he's like, okay, let's go and get over there to the other side of the house because we need to get the cameras rolling. And Andy told me that y'all need to hurry up because y'all only paying me like $20 an hour, and we need to get this dinner ready. So he starts telling them like, okay, you're gonna sit here, you're gonna sit here. And did y'all catch how he was like, oh, who's Kyle? I'm like, damn, you don't know who Kathy Hilton's sister is, Kyle? I mean, has she never talked about her to you? I mean, I would assume that he has some type of idea, but I guess not. And then he's like, okay, Miss Versace to Dorit. I'm like, Kudos to whoever, I'm assuming it was Kathy, maybe Andy, that told them to put Erika in between Sutton and in between Garcelle. I'm like, oh, y'all are so messy, but I love it. So Sutton in her big shoulder jacket did not waste any time, because as soon as Erika was next to her, she was like, I want to talk to you about something. Can we just, discuss about what happened the other day? And Erika looks down at her and she's just like, I don't think there's nothing to talk about anymore. I mean, what the fuck do you really want to talk about, Sutton? Like, what is it? What's going on? And Sutton's like, I just want to get to talk. Do you not want to talk to me? And Erika's just not having it. Erika's just like, no, I just don't think there's nothing to talk about here. Like, there really isn't. Like, Sutton, there's nothing for me to talk to you about. And then she storms off and she's looking for the bathroom or whatever to adjust her mascara because, her scene is about to go down. Sutton is left at the table so confused, and everybody's looking at her like, what's going on? Did you give her the appetizer? What's going on? And she's like, I don't know. I tried to talk to her and she just doesn't want to. She just dismissed me. And Garcelle's like, oh, that sucks. That's unfortunate. But we're going to try again later because Andy wants us to film this scene. So we have to ask her questions. And Sutton is like, I know. And I'm going to be the only one speaking up because obviously I'm the only one here at the table who can. And I'm like, ooh. I'm like, she threw shade at everybody at the table, but everybody stayed quiet because it's true. Sutton is the only one speaking up. Garcelle speaks up to a certain extent, but she's more talkative in her confessionals than in person, and everybody else is just kind of like scared of Erika. Why? Again, I don't know. So then all the women start settling down at the dinner table to start getting comfortable, and then here comes Annabelle opening her mouth again. And I'm like, oh, let's see what she has to say this time to put her own foot in her mouth. And Dorit looks at Garcelle and she's like, you know, Garcelle, I will always stick up for myself and I don't really like confrontation at all. And I just feel like, and then just before she even said anything, Kathy snatched her by her pigtail and was like, no, 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 we're gonna have a lovely dinner and you can save all that drama for after the dinner because you're gonna talk too much and by the time you're done talking, the camera crews, their cameras are probably gonna die. They're probably gonna have to be recharged again. So no, Dorit, you could save that for later. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness, Kathy. So then this is where Lisa sparked the match to light the whole fire at the dinner table because she has this little bell that she keeps ringing and she's like, okay, whoever has the bell, whoever rings it is gonna have to say something that, you know, they wanna, you know, just let out and if they have an issue with somebody. And she's like, Sutton, let's start with you. And I'm like, oh, Lisa, you knew what you were doing. And Sutton's like, no, I want to talk about it. You know, I just tried to have a conversation with Erika and Erika was just not having it. And Erika's like, what the fuck does my life have to do with you? You know, what does anything that I do concern you in your life? And then Sutton's like, I just really don't like that you said that I was from a small town. I think that's very, you know, bad to say. I don't like that. And whatever I did for my own life, you know, I built it my own. You know, me and Christian, her ex-husband. And she's telling her that she thought that the whole legal issue with Erika and Tom was going to have a huge impact or effect on her life, but it didn't. And she was wrong. But Erika cannot see that. She's just on the attack. She just took out her claws and she was just like, I just don't understand what the problem is, and I mean, I really don't give a fuck what you have to say. I don't get how my life has such a fucking impact in your life. I mean, you're not even part of the country club. Nobody knows who you are, so what's going on here? The whole time, I'm just waiting for Dorit to jump in and call her a bully because obviously this is bully behavior, right? Because she continues using the F-bomb to Sutton and Sutton keeps telling her nicely, please don't talk to me like that. Please stop talking to me like that. And she just continues replying, all right, no, I'm gonna talk to you whatever the fuck way I feel like it. Like, what are you gonna do about it? And I'm like, Dorit, again, bully behavior right here, right? Sutton is a better person than I am because as soon as Erika would have dropped the F-bomb in front of me, and especially that we're sitting right next to each other, I would have grabbed one of my shoulder blades from that orange jacket that she was wearing, that was very hideous, by the way, and would have just slapped her in the face with it like, here you go, and here's another one. You know, like, who does Erika think she is? Like, who is she scaring again? Like, I am sorry. I really want to get to that. I think that the next season should be an investigation on who Erika is scaring, you know, because I'm so confused as to why she thinks that she's such a bad bitch and she thinks that she could just whoop everybody's ass on this cast. Like, no, Erika, stop it. And I love that the entire time that Erika is screaming at Sutton and they're going back and forth with each other, that the butler, Patrick, is trying to serve a lamb. Like, does anybody want a lamb chop? And then he probably goes over to Erika like, Erika, I know you're about to whoop Sutton's ass, but do you want a lamb chop? Like, they were probably so scared. Like, what kind of behavior is this? And I know Kathy was probably just like, I cannot believe I let them come to my house to film and they're acting like this in front of me at this dinner table. But you know, she should have known better. And then the butler, Patrick, he goes back into the kitchen. He tells everybody else like, oh yeah, they're fighting out there. Quick, go put out a dessert or something so you could go listen and get the tea and then come back here and tell me what's going on. Hurry up. As Erika continues to bark at Sutton, Dorit, for some reason, she grew a spine out of nowhere. It probably came with a Louis Vuitton logo attached to it. And she's like, Erika, I know what you said to Sutton right now, that your issues have no effect on her life, but I must disagree with you on that. I must disagree with you on that, baby. And Erika's like, why? What's going on? What the fuck do you mean, Dorit? And Dorit's like, you know, the more the articles come out, you know, the more, how you say, issues become to our name. You know, I feel like I'm not really important on the show, but this whole scandal really brings some type of importance to my life. And if my name is dragged through this, I don't know what I can do. I probably won't be able to sell my wedding dresses that nobody's probably gonna buy. So I just want to let you know that, okay, Erika? It's not because we're coming at you crazy. It's just, I want you to know that. Then Erika's reply to Dorit was just like, there's going to be a day where I really find out who my real friends are, and this is not it right now. Like, it's really not it. Like, I will find out my true friends in the jail cell that I'm gonna be put in, and that's when I'm gonna realize who my real friends are. And Garcelle jumps in and she's like, look, we're not trying to like really roast you or anything. We're just trying to have you understand that where our perspective is coming from. Because if you're doing something or you're involved in some type of shady business, we just want you to understand how, from our perspective, it could look like some type of legal issue involving us into it. And Erika just does not understand that. And I'm actually surprised that she doesn't get it. Like, I don't understand what she doesn't understand about it. Part of me is like, okay, I get what she's saying, because if you're friends with somebody and your loyalty is that strong and you've been friends forever, I guess you will want them to be loyal to you no matter what until the truth comes out. But if all this shady shit is coming out day by day, then what you expect to other people around you to, you know, see it as? Like, you want them to just cover their eyes and cover their ears and just like pretend that nothing is happening and just trust you because you've been friends with each other for so long? I don't think it works that way. And that's what Garcelle was just trying to explain to her. But Erika's like, no, I just don't understand what any of this is affecting anybody's fucking life. I just don't get it. And then Erika forces the teardrop to come out of her eye that she learned in acting class. And Garcelle sees that. And Garcelle's like, no, let me wipe that away from you. And she's like, no, don't touch me. Don't touch me right now. Like, I don't want to be touched right now. And I'm like, damn, the theatrics. And then Annabelle jumps into the conversation and she's telling Erika, look, Erika, I want you to know that we're gonna be on your side no matter what. And I don't believe any of those rumors. Yes, I do. I don't believe any of those rumors. I really don't. I mean, PK told me this morning to not believe it. So I'm gonna do what PK is telling me to do because I have no mind of my own. Okay, Erika? Please don't think that we're against you. And Erika's reply was, look at my life. Just look at my life, Dorit. Look at my life. Look at my fucking life. Do you think I want to live like this, huh? My life is already fucking hard. Yes, I know you mentioned the orphans and everything, but look at my life. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Dorit continues to try to plead her case to Erika, and she's just like, no, Erika, I would never, ever, ever want to live that nightmare that you call your life. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, wow, Dorit, just throwing that subtle shade in that conversation. And Erika's just like, yes, because I'm living a nightmare, okay? I am living a fucking nightmare right now. And then this the next thing I did not expect, because then Kyle jumps into the conversation and I'm like, wow. She waited 15 episodes to jump into anything like this. And she's like, listen, I call shade. And she's like, no, Erika, give me 1 second. Sutton, yeah, you need to be more honest. I feel like you're just lying and you're just bullshitting in front of Erika. You're not telling the whole truth. And I was like, wow, like, this must be very awkward for the whole renter thing. I'm like, damn, I mean, I'm guessing that Sutton is just gonna have to give her the rent money, like, here, Kyle, don't talk to me. Here's the money. Kyle was just going on the attack out of nowhere to Sutton, and she's telling her, oh, Sutton, I just feel like you're not really being upfront about everything you told her. I feel like you're lying to Erika to her face because you do not believe what's going on with Erika's life. And I'm like, wow, Kyle, like, I was just shocked the entire time because the same thing that Garcelle said in her confessional, that again, for the 100th time, she did not say in front of them because she's saying it in the confessional. She's like, it's crazy that Kyle's coming on the attack and so strong against Sutton, but you did not say anything to Dorit when she was backpedaling at the Christmas dinner not too long ago. Dorit had a lot to say during that meeting, Kyle, and you did not point that out at all, but you were so quick to throw Sutton right underneath the bus. And Sutton is blindsided and so confused, and she's like, what do you mean? I am telling her everything. And I mean, to a certain extent, Sutton is I think for the most part, she's telling her everything that she feels. I feel like she's not being really, out there with it. She's not really in her face with it. Like, Erika, I don't really believe what you're saying. I feel like she's just kind of dropping subtle hints that she doesn't believe what she's saying, but she's not really keeping the same oomph and the same energy that she does when she has these little private meetings with the rest of the women. And speaking of hypocrites, here comes Lisa jumping in as she's holding that puppy, and she's like, be honest, just be honest with everything, just be honest. And I'm like, Lisa, you're not even even being honest with yourself or your friend Erika, who's in a bunch of scandals. Like, you're the least one that should be saying, oh, be honest, when you're not even holding your friend accountable. You're covering up all her lies just out of loyalty or out of fear or something that you two have going on. Then Erika continues on against Sutton and she's like, do you know something about my life? Do you know something about my life, Sutton? What's going on? You tell me what the fuck is going on, because I know that I'm not doing anything. I am telling the truth. I am not a liar. So do you know something? Do you, Sutton? What's going on? Sutton looked away for a quick second, but Erika was not having it. She was just like, look at me in my fucking eyes right now. I will do this all day with you and all night and all day tomorrow and the next weekend and the following weekend, because I have nothing else to do with my life. So look at me when I'm talking to you. What the fuck is going on here? How dare you, Sutton, be the only person in this group smart enough to crack my lies and to call me out on my bullshit? How dare you? How fucking dare you? And then Sutton's like, please don't talk to me like that. Please do not talk to me like that. And Erika replied, or what? Or what? Or what? And then Sutton's like, or nothing. And then Erika's like, exactly. So shut the fuck up. And I'm like, wow. Like, if I was Sutton, if I was Sutton, I would have called Patrick over and I would have been like, Patrick, can you come over here for a quick second? Can you bring me the thickest lamb chop you have in the kitchen? Oh no, I don't want to eat it. No, I just need to slap her in the face with it because I don't know who the fuck she thinks she's talking to. Because Erika, I was just waiting for Garcelle to jump in, you know, like just grab her by the hair, like, go ahead, Sutton. I got her in a chokehold. Just hit her really quickly. I was just waiting for them to double team her, and then that was it. It was to be continued. I was like, wow. It's crazy how big and bold Erika gets when somebody's calling her out on her bullshit. I can only imagine if all the women kept the same energy that Sutton has. I wonder how she would take them all on at the same time. But here she's only looking at Sutton, and I was very, very disappointed in Kyle. I was so disappointed in her because I'm like, wow, you really threw her underneath the bus. Like, I cannot believe that. But at the same time, I guess I can believe it. You know, she didn't say anything about Dorit. Dorit, you know, she kind of said her 2 words this time, but I'm like, yeah, Dorit, it's a little bit too late now. Like, you're not getting any type of, you know, redemption because of what you said. Regardless of whatever anybody calls anybody out on at these dinners or these group functions, it's still gonna all be revealed at the reunion. I mean, they all have to reunite and look at all these episodes together. I'm pretty sure that Erika is watching this from home again, and she's probably like, wow, so wait a minute. At the time, it seemed that it was just a one-sided thing with Sutton, but really everybody had kind of their foot in the puddle, you know? And that's exactly what they're gonna expose at the reunion. Then we'll truly see what everybody has to say in front of each other's faces. And that was the episode, y'all. Whew. Housewives and dinners just do not mix, because they cannot just have a nice dinner and eat a nice little, you know, steak or whatever without somebody almost getting a fist to the eye. I'm pretty sure that Kathy probably called Patrick after everybody went home and was like, yeah, Patrick, I know you're sleeping right now, but can you come downstairs and burn this entire dinner table down? I don't want any recollection of, of what just went down in my fabulous home, and I'm never letting them film here again. What did y'all think about this episode as a whole? Let me know your opinions and your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Bye, y'all. Mwah.